Something I've always struggled with is this. I think we know it now today is what we want to call imposter syndrome. And I I sort of laugh about it now because as Americans, we are the best at labeling things, right? Because as they say, marketers ruin everything, and it's true in many ways. But it's because we're so good at identifying a problem, coming up with a solution. Just innovation. That's what makes the world go around. Is people like us that are always innovating, always seeking out a problem to solve when there's so many to solve right in front of us. But the more people that I talk to in life and business consultations, whether I'm consulting them or they're consulting me, uh, there's always seems to be this thread that's wound, through the conversations of belief in themselves, belief in myself, belief in them. And after talking to so many people about this idea, of course, my brain starts working on it's like, well, what's the root of this? And I think oh man, I've come up with all kinds of different ways to think about this, but I don't want to go down this laundry list and make this thing too long. But the one thing that I really do believe is the main thing that I've assimilated out of all these different thoughts and ideas about this is the bar. And I don't mean the bar I used to spend a lot of time in. I mean the level at which you set your standard, the level at which your community sets the standards. And as high achievers, entrepreneurs, crazy people like us that make the world go around, we don't establish, I should say there's no established bar for anything. And it's good and bad because you'd like to know that there's a standard because then there's a level of expectation to meet and that you have something to go compete against, right? You have a problem to solve and a way to win, right? Because there's basically a set of rules. But when it comes to us individually, the community that which we grew up in, the world that we choose to play in, the business model that we choose to, industry lane we choose to dive into. Yes, there is industry standards, and there is human standards, and there's economic standards, and bio standards, and I can go right down the list. But the people that really make significant change is they learn those standards, we'll just call them rules, and I hate to use the word perfect, but they perfect those rules, or they have a really, really, really good understanding of the rules. And once you learn the rules, then you learn how to stretch the rules, how to bend the rules, or what I'd like to say is just create a new bar. You create your own rules. You have a whole new set of standards, of beliefs that you now believe to be true about whatever the thing is that you're solving. And not because you just pulled some wild hair out of your backside, but because you've had significant results in a whole series of things, and you believe you can apply principles and processes to this new thing you're trying to solve, thereby, we'll call it setting a new bar. And when you work yourself into this methodology, you realize that anything you move into, and you believe that you could solve that problem, that you could win in that new lane, you are now setting the new bar for that lane, for that industry. And it's amazing how we can do it for other people and other businesses like in our sleep all the time. It's just easy, right? But when we attempt to do it for ourselves, I don't get it. We just, for whatever reason, and I'm sure this is part of God's plan, this is part of how we're designed, we're wired specifically, that forces us as innovators and visionaries to consistently grow. And so I think we're designed to have some type of, we'll call it a valve system, some kind of a clutch that is throttling back the things that we can do for others that we can't necessarily do for ourselves, which is, for most of us, not most of us, all of us as humans, is that, once you figure out the thing about you that you need to change, then it's just, what's the plan? And I'll get to work. You put the work in, you get the result. There's this magical little formula about having a proven model. You put the effort in. The only reason that all these proven models doesn't work is that the individual just doesn't ever work the model. They can't get out of their own way, me included. I mean, this is, I'm definitely not excluded from that group. I just learned to have an idea, go hard and fast, and get through that curve, that learning curve, as fast as possible to see if it's even worthy of the time to invest. Now, ideally, as you get older, you start thinking about this and you map the whole thing out before you put all this physical effort or, start burning up your resources beyond your thinking process, your time. But once you start developing a level of confidence that you can go solve these various problems at will, but you can't seem to solve them for yourself, it's a very frustrating thing as somebody that holds themselves in high esteem to be able to go really take on big challenges and solve them. But then you look in the mirror and you're like, well, why am I still fat? Why am I, not getting any sleep? Why is my financial world falling apart? Why are my relationships falling apart? How come I don't get any playtime? Why can't I build long-term wealth? I know how to make money short-term, but I can never seem to hold on to it. You can go right down the whole laundry list of life and realize that, hey, I've invested a lot of time in this one area, so damn it, I better be good at it. And you do it with ease relative to other people seeing like, oh my God, how do you do that? How do you do that so fast? It's like, well, because I've invested my whole time, I've invested my whole life in helping improve my strengths and not spend my whole life trying to make all my weaknesses stronger. I hire those roles out, get those out of my way. But when it comes to solving my own problems, that comes down to a belief system of whether you're worthy to solve the problem. And that, my friends, is where imposter syndrome kicks up all the time, is that the belief that you have in yourself to solve problems for other people is the thing you always go to help you build the confidence back. But then if those rules ideally can apply to you, but you can't see how to align them, or you need somebody else to help you and hold you accountable to basically do the same things that you teach other people to do personally, then it's hard to set where that bar is, that limit, that expectation, so you can live up to that expectation. You see, just like you're going to teach your people, whoever you train, whoever you work with, whoever you help, that there is a proven model, and if you go execute, you're going to get the result. Well, you can look in the mirror yourself and say, listen, I can't lose weight. I've been battling weight my whole life, and I just, there's one of the greatest quotes ever by Dr. Deming that came up with the whole continuous improvement, now known as Kaizen model. But he said, it's not enough to do your best. You must know what to do and then do your best. And even though it's my favorite quote ever, it escapes me sometimes. But whenever I go back and read it again, I was like, wait a minute. I've been banging my head, trying to go through that door that I've been trying to go through the same damn door my entire life. I'm still not getting results. You know what I ought to try differently? Maybe I should get a new coach. Maybe I should get a coach. Maybe I should get a mentor. Somebody that can help me, that is living the way I want to live, has done the things that I want to do, that lives a very deep and intentional lifestyle that aligns with what I want. And they have a result. And not just went to a weekend seminar and now there's some guru at it, but they've been doing it for many, many years, decades even. And that's their main thing. They coach other people to get these results. What an idea. We do that in everything, except for usually our health. What an idea, right? It's like, no kidding, Sherlock. So the reason imposter syndrome comes up consistently in seemingly really high achievers is that, and this is a really good thing. So if you're feeling like imposter syndrome, that means you're doing the right thing. Meaning that where I discovered and I feel imposter syndrome is when I get into, a new room or a seat at that new table with, people that are way more successful than me in all kinds of aspects of life. And usually in these rooms, they're business oriented. So they're, super successful in business. But the rooms I seek are the rooms that are, not just successful in business, but are they're exceptional at their health, at their relationships, at their playtime, and then the income and the wealth at the end, right? That's the room I want to be in. That's the room I have decided to be in. And that's why I love and I welcome the concept of me feeling that imposter syndrome idea, is because my system is telling me, you are now, my friend, out of your comfort zone, exactly where you're supposed to be. And this is where life begins. Is this like, let me go draw the proverbial line, right? And then you like, oh, let's step over the line. And now I'm on the other side, or I stepped into my fear box. And guess what? You live there for, a period of time. And you realize quickly that the people that are sitting in front of you, they got imposter syndrome too. You talk to enough of them and you go deep enough. Now, maybe because they're sitting at the table and they're, multi-hundred millionaire and they've got life dialed financially, but their kids hate them. They're drug addicts. They're porn addicts. They're whatever. It's unbelievable. The things I see now and have been exposed to now in these rooms, the new rooms, the ones that you want to be in, of seeking phenomenal mentors that can help me just grow and move to a completely different level than I am today. And that's why imposter syndrome always comes up. I would say you hope it always comes up, or at least at some consistent level over time, because that means then you're living. Then you're actually stepping outside your comfort zone.